Hey YouTube, I'm Kishan and in this video we are going to create this full stack Amazon clone using Next.js, Tailwind CSS, Typescript, Stripe for payment gateway, Next UI, and we are going to generate all of the backend using Amplication. Amplication generates production ready backend in just few minutes. We'll talk more about Amplication after the demo of the video. Also at the end we are going to host this app on Aptible using Docker, and this time we are going to do things differently. Instead of creating a long video, I have divided the video in 3 parts into more shorter versions. Let me know if you like this approach. If yes, we are going to follow this approach for all our videos. So now let's get started. So this is the Amazon homepage. We have the Amazon Navbar here. You can search for the products here. Then you have the cart functionality here. Then you have some banner for your product here. Then you have some list of products, then banners again, then list of products, and so on. Now when we click on a product, you can see the product details here. You can also switch the images from here. You can see the colors and variants of the product and the description of the product. Now you can also add the product to your cart or buy now. So we are going to add this product to the cart, and as soon as we click here, you will see that the cart value would be increased, and you can see that it was increased, and we click on the cart again, you will see that it is not increased again. We have also taken care of that. Now we can also search for a product. I'm going to search for OnePlus. Search, and you can see that we have this beautiful search page here. I'm going to add this to our cart, and you can see that the cart values has been increased. And let's head over to the cart page, and this is our cart page, and you can see that we have this phone with quantity as 2 because we have added this product twice, and this phone's quantity is 1. We can also delete the product from our cart, so this is deleted, and you can see that this prices has been updated automatically. Now if I increase or decrease the quantity of the product, the prices are again calculated. Now we can also select the delivery type of free shipping or prime shipping. If we have selected prime shipping, then the prices are adjusted automatically. We can select cash on delivery or Stripe, and we can check out for the product and the order would be created. Now we also have login and sign up page. From here we can sign up to Amazon, or we can just log in from here, and this is our login page. From here we can log into our Amazon clone. Now let me show you one amazing thing of this clone. We have created an admin panel for this clone with charts. We have used Recharts library for the charts, and we have this amazing details of the charts. We have also the stats of our Amazon clone. Now we also have this beautiful sidebar. We have used React Pro Sidebar for this. When we click over this, we can see all the categories here. You can see that we have this beautiful table with pagination. You can also have number of rows. We have this beautiful tooltips. Now we can also add the category from here. Let me add demo cat, and we can search it from here. And this has 0 products. You can also see the number of products with each category. Now let's head over to all products from here, and you can see the list of products here. You can also edit the product or delete the product. We also have the pagination here. We can add new product. So from here we can add the new product. Let's add a Dell laptop. Dell laptop. Product description would be laptop description. You can add multiple descriptions from here. We will set the sale price to $450 and discounted price to $250. Variant is going to be 16 GB, 32 GB, and we have this awesome color picker. We can select different categories, and we can upload the images. We have used Cloudinary for this. Let's browse. And let's add the product, and the product was added. Let's go to the last page, and you can see that Dell laptop was added. Now we also have some hidden features for this application, and I'm going to reveal them in the part 2 of this Amazon clone, which is going to be released after 3 days from today. And make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you want any more features in this clone, you can just comment it down and I will add them to the second or third part of this video. So now without wasting any time, let's talk about application. Today I've got something really special to share with you all, a game changer in the world of software development that I'm thrilled to introduce, Amplication. As developers, we know how crucial it is to streamline our workflow, boost our efficiency, and bring our ideas to life faster than ever. That's where Amplication comes in. And let me tell you, it's a real game changer. So, Amplication is an open source platform that generates production ready backend services which are reliable, secure, and consistent. Amplication generates backend services with the highest standards, consistency, and scalability. Amplication helps you accelerate your development 20 times faster, so you will never waste your time on boilerplate code and repetitive tasks again. So how exactly the Amplication backend development platform works? Simply configure your architecture with APIs, data models, database, and more. It will automatically generate all the boilerplate code and the infrastructure code. You can continuously get pull requests with the generated code to your Git repositories, and you can freely customize and extend the generated code. That's it. So working with backend is never a hassle again. Okay, so now I'm inside my GitHub and I'm going to create a new repository by clicking here, the green button, create repository. Click on it and I'm going to name this repository as Next.js Amazon clone, and this is going to be public, and I'm going to add a readme file. Now let's create the repository, and the repo is created. Now let's head over to Amplication for generating our backend. This is the Amplication home page. It generates production ready backend services. I'm going to log in. I'm going to start the process from scratch. So I'm going to continue with my GitHub account. I'm going to authorize the application. And our GitHub was connected. Now let's start. I'm going to name this service as Amazon Backend. Click continue, and we are going to connect GitHub, and I'm going to have all repository access, or you can also select a single repository, so it also gives you refined access. So I'm going to have the all repositories option and click install, and this was completed. Now I want to select the repository. I'm going to select this Next.js Amazon clone that we just created. Select it, and I'm going to click on this continue button now. Now Amplication provides the GraphQL API, REST API, and Swaggy UI and the admin UI. I'm going to keep this checked, hit continue, and in here I'm going to select the poly repo and hit continue. And for the database, we are going to use the PostgreSQL. If you want to use MongoDB or MySQL, Amplication provides the option for that as well and configures things automatically. So for this, we are going to use PostgreSQL. Okay, so let's hit continue. Now Amplication also provides some templates for your data model. It's a predefined set of entities and fields. So we are going to start it from scratch. So I'm going to select this option, empty. Hit continue, and now Amplication also provides the feature for authentication and authorization of your service, so your services are protected. So we are going to select this include auth module. If you don't want authentication in your project, just select the skip authentication and the code for the authentication would not be included. So we are going to need this auth module. Hit continue, and all is set. Amplication is generating our code. Let's wait for it. Now let's hit continue. And your service was created. Now let's head over to I'm done, view my service. So these are the details that you filled in the process. Now we are going to add some entities. So entities is nothing but it's just kind of tables in your database. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this user entity, and these are a set of fields that are predefined by Amplication. And we are going to add one more, which is going to be is admin, to check if the logged in user is an admin. Now I'm going to click on this plus icon, and it is automatically created. And now the data type for this is going to be boolean. Now let's head over to the entities again, and this time I'm going to create another entity, and the name of entity would be products. So this will store all of our products. Create the entity, and now we are going to add the fields to the entity. So the first one is going to be title. Hit enter, and Title is going to be a single line text and it is going to be a required field. Now other is going to be the description. Hit enter, and this one is going to be a JSON type because we are going to provide an array of descriptions, and this is also a required field. Now after this I'm going to have a title price, hit enter. This is also a required field. This is a decimal number. Now we will have a discounted price. This is also a required field. Now we'll have colors field. So this is going to be an JSON data type because we are going to store an array of colors. After this we are going to have a field named as variants. So this is going to store the different type of variants. This is going to be a required field on here and in the colors as well. This is going to be a JSON. Add the field. Now we are going to add some more fields. This is going to be images, and this is also going to be in JSON because we are going to store the array of the links. This is a required field, and for now that's it. Now let's head over to the entities again, and now I'm going to create another entity which is going to be named as category. So all the products are going to have some categories. So let's give it a name field. This is going to be a single line text and we are going to mark this as a required field. After this we'll have a products field. This is going to be a relation to entity. This is going to be a required field, and make sure that you have checked this. One category can be related to many products, and you have this kind of relation here, and when you click on the products here you can see that the category was automatically added here, and we have this option here. One product can be related to one category. So isn't application cool? It generated all of this relation automatically without any kind of hassles. Now all of the products are going to have some reviews. So reviews, create entity, and we are going to have a rating field. Rating is going to be a whole number or a decimal number, but I'm going to select whole number here, and this is going to be a required field. After that I'm going to have a user here. So we are going to check which user has given this review. So this is also going to be a relation to entity, and check this option of one review can be related to one user only. And when we click on this user here, you can see that the reviews was added here as well. Now let's head backwards, and now let's add a product relation here. So the review should be associated with the user and a product. So hit enter, and this is already selected as relation to entity. Related entities products, and one reviews can be related to one product only. And that's it. Our reviews entity is complete. Now we have to create last entity, which is going to be orders. So orders, create entity, and all the orders are created by a user. So we are going to have a user associated with it, and we'll have relation to entity here. Related entities user, one order can be related to one user only. Now after that we are going to have the products here. So orders can have products. So one orders can be related to many products. Then we are going to have a price field here. The price field would be a decimal number. Then we are going to have a status field, which is going to be JSON data type. After that we are going to have a payment intent field. This is useful if you want to create a payment gateway. Payment intent, and this is going to be a single line text. After that we are going to have a payment status field. This is going to be boolean, and this will denote that if the payment was completed, and that's it. This entity was also created. Now I also want you to show you one more feature of application. If you are coming from any other project and you don't want to create all your entities here and you have your Prisma schema, so what you can do is you can select your Prisma schema and just upload it here, and application will automatically create all your relations and entities according to your Prisma file. Isn't this feature cool? Now let's commit our changes and build the application by clicking here, commit changes and build. Click on it and wait for it to build our application. You can see the detailed info in here. So our build was completed and application automatically pushed our code to our GitHub repo. And now let's head over to our GitHub repo. You can just click here at the bottom, open with GitHub. And let's head over to pull request here. Application generates the pull request of our code. Click on it. And you can see that all the description is generated by application bot. And if you head over to here, files changed, you can see all the files that has been generated by application. Now let's head back and let's merge our pull request to merge our code to the master branch. Confirm merge. And let's head over to code. And you can see that our application generated code is here for our backend. Now I'm going to click on this code and I'm going to clone this repo. You can just download this zip or you can use the git clone and this URL. I'm going to download the zip. It has been downloaded and now I'm going to extract it and open the code in a VS Code. Give me a minute. Okay, so I have opened the code in a VS Code. And you can see that we have our server here and the admin UI. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install all the dependencies that we need. So first let's open up a new terminal, and first what I'm going to do is I'm going to write npx create next app at latest to use the latest Next.js version, and I'm going to name it as client and hit enter. Let's set up our Next.js application first. Press Y to install Next.js. Yes, I'm going to use the Typescript. I'm going to use ESLint as well. I'm going to use Tailwind CSS. I'm going to use the source directory. I'm going to use the app router. And I don't want to customize the default import alias, so I'm going to press no. Wait for it to install all the dependencies, and while this is being done, I'm going to create a package.json file here and I'm going to paste in this code in here. So here we have the start scripts for our application, the dev dependencies, and the dependencies, the author of the repo, the license, the name of project. You can get this file from the description of the video. So we have certain scripts here. The first script here is to start the front end and the back end of our application, and these scripts are for starting the front end, admin and backend standalone. So yeah, that's it. Now let's wait for this Next.js to install all the dependencies. Okay, so our Next.js project setup was completed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write yarn here to install all the dependencies for the backend as well. Let's wait for it to complete. Okay, so our dependencies were installed successfully, and now I'm going to head over to our server by cd server, and I'm just going to open it first, and I'm going to open up the .env file here, and I'm going to change the database URL here. So we are using the Postgres here, and the database URL for me is different. So this is the database user and the password. So my database username is Postgres and the password is admin. So make sure that you change the username and password according to your database settings. This is something that you have set up when you have installed the database. So let's save it and let's head over to terminal, and I'm going to write npx prisma generate to generate the Prisma client. And now our Prisma client was generated, and now I'm going to write npx prisma db push, and our database is in sync with our Prisma schema. And now I'm going to write npx Prisma studio to open up the Prisma studio, and our Prisma models are here. Yeah, we have all the fields. Now let's close this, and I'm going to close this as well. Head over to our root, and I'm going to start our application by yarn start. Let's wait for it. It will start the front end and the back end. So everything has started. Now what I'm going to do is, let's open up this, and I'm going to open local host colon 5000 to see our Next.js application. And yeah, we have our Next.js application up and ready. So now let's head over to localhost 3000/API, and if you are seeing the screen, that means your backend is ready with application. So application has generated all the API routes that are possible, the authorization, authentication as well. We have this auth APIs, the users API, the products API, the categories API, the reviews API, and the orders API. So there are all the possible combinations here for the CRUD operations. And the cool thing is, you can just interact with the APIs by here. So you can try it out from here. You just have to pass in the example values like this here, and we are going to use this application UI throughout the project. So we don't have to write the boilerplate code for our backend. It is all handled by application. And if you load application, you can just head over to their GitHub repo and start the repository. You can also contribute to application because it is open source backend development platform. You can just head over to their issues and contribute to any of their issues. Also, if you need any support, you can just join to that Discord channel and create a new post from here. So application also runs giveaways every month. You can just join their Discord channel and you can also participate in their giveaways. So now, without wasting any more time, let's continue with the video. Okay, so now let's understand the architecture of our Amazon clone. So we have used Next.js 13 with the app directory. For our front end, we have used server components and client-side components of Next.js, and with all the latest features of Next.js. With it, we have also used React. So actually, the server components are a feature of React 18. So React 18 is used for this project. Apart from that, we have also used Tailwind CSS for all the utility classes. With it, we have also used Motion and Next UI for the components. Also, we have used Typescript for type safety for the front end and back end as well. Now, the back end is generated by application. So application generates a production ready backend with all the CRUD operations API. So the generated backend code by application is in Nest.js. So we are also going to use Nest.js because we are going to tamper with the code generated by application. Now we have also used Stripe for the payment gateways. So all the payment gateways are handled by Stripe. Now I have also hosted this project on Aptible. So Aptible is an amazing deployment service. We will talk about it at the end of the video, so make sure that you watch the video till the end. Now to host on Aptible, we have to use Docker files. So you guys will also be introduced to Docker. It's helpful when you want to containerize your applications. Also, we have used PostgreSQL for this project as the database. So that's the stack we have used for this project. Now let me show you the entities of our project. So these all are the entities that we are going to use for this project. So first we have this user entity. This will store all the user information. So we have ID as the string, which is also marked as primary key here. Then we will have reviews. So all the products has reviews. So review is an entity here. You can see that. Then we have orders. So all the products has orders. So it is here. Order is another entity here. Now we have also stored the created at time, so we can know when the user is created. Now we'll store the first name property of the user and the last name property, which is string. And we are going to use the isAdmin property to know if the user is an admin. Logged in user or the sign up user is an admin. It's an boolean property. Now we also have this password field. This is used for storing the password. This is in a string format. Then we have rules format, which is JSON. This will denote the role of the user. Then we have this updated at property. So whenever a user is updated, we will also store the last updated time and the username, which is a string. After that, we have this category entity, which will store all the categories of the Amazon clone. So we have the ID as primary key, which is a string. Then we have created add property, which is timestamp, which will store when this category was created. Then we have a name property, which is of string. Then we have this updated add property, which will store the updated timestamp. And we have products, which will point to this product entity. This would be a foreign key. Okay, so this is the product entity. We have an ID field here with the string, which is marked as primary key. Then we have category ID. So this will point to this category ID right here. Then we have colors. So all the products can have multiple types of colors. So that would be an array of strings. So I have marked this as JSON. After that, we have created add property. It will store the timestamp of when the product was created. Then we have description. So our product can have multiple description. So I have used JSON here, which will store an array of strings. Then we have discounted price, which is a number. Then we have reviews. So this will store all the reviews of our product, which is a separate entity right here. Then we have images right here. So the images would be uploaded to Cloudinary, and Cloudinary would return us an URL in a format of string. And when we hit that URL, we can access our image. So we can upload multiple images and we'll store them in an array of strings. So this is also marked as JSON. Then we have sale price, which is a number. Now we have title property, which is string, which will store the title of this product. Then we have updated, which will store the timestamp of the last updated value. Then we have variants. So variants is something like if you are shopping for clothes, then we have sizes like large, XL, double XL, triple XL. So those are all kind of variants of the product. And if we are shopping for any mobile device, then we have variants like 256 GB storage, 512 GB storage. So these kind of things are the variants of the products. These can be an array of strings and it would be stored in a JSON format. Now after this, we have order ID, which will store the orders of the product. So orders are a separate entity right here. So now we have this review entity, which has an ID of string, which is also marked as primary key. Then we have product ID, which is a string. This will point to which product this review is associated with. Then we have created add property, which is timestamp, which will store when the review was created. Then we have the description of the review. So this will store the contents of the review. So what the user has written in it, it would be in a string format. Then we have the rating, which will be in a number. So this rating would be like if the user has given the product a rating of 3 out of 5, then it will store that number 3 here. Then we have user ID, which will store the ID of the user who has created this review. Then we have the updated at property, which will store at what time it was updated. It's a timestamp. And at the end, we have this order entity. So the order has an ID field, which is string and has been marked as primary key. Then we have user ID, which is string. This will point to the user which created this order. Then we have created add property, which is timestamp. This will store when this order was created. Then we have payment intent property, which is string. This is useful for payments using Stripe or any other payment gateway. So we have used Stripe for this, and this property is for that. Then there is this payment status field, which is a boolean, and this will store if the payment is complete or not. Then we have price, which will store the total amount of the order. Then we have this status, which is in JSON. This will store all the different status of the orders. And at the end, we have updated add property, which is a timestamp. So it will store the last updated value. So that's it for our entities. So now let's discuss about the pages that we are going to create for this app. I have listed down all the pages here. So we are going to have two sections here, the client section and the admin section. So for the client, we are going to have home page of the Amazon clone, which will have several of products there and some branding info on Navbar. Then we will have a search page. This will have a filters section and the search results. Then we have the actual product page. If we click on any of the product, then we will have the product details there, the images of the product, the reviews. Then we will have the login and sign up page. This is for login and sign up of the user. And then we have the cart page. And after that, we will have a checkout page. Then in the admin side, we have the login page, and we are not going to have a sign up page for the admin because admin cannot sign up. Then we will have a dashboard page with some charts. Then we will have category CRUD operations. Same goes for the products and the orders. So that's it. These are all the pages that we are going to create for the Amazon clone. So now, without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay, so now let's start our app by npm start. And first we are going to create the sign up page, and let's do that inside the client, inside the source directory. First, inside the app, I'm going to create a new folder named as sign up, which will have a page.tsx. So we are using Next.js 13. So in that, we are using the app directory, and for that, if you want to create a page, you have to create a folder and you have to create page.tsx, not the component. So that's it, and make sure that P is capital. And if you want to create the component using the shortcut, you can write RFCE to just create the component. Now after this sign up, what we are going to do is, also I have imported the assets. I will link down the download link in the description. You can get the assets from there. And now what we are going to do is, first we'll mark this component as use client, because we are going to use states and use effect and everything, so it has to be marked as use client. By default, this component is a server-side component. We don't want to use server-side component for this. We are going to use client-side rendering. Now we'll have some states. So the shortcut to create a use state is use state snippet and email, set email, and the default value for email field would be empty. So these are the states for the input fields. Then use state for, okay, not use state snippet, and this is for password. Password is going to be empty at first. After that, we will also need the router. Const router is equals to use router. Make sure that use router is imported from next navigation, not next router. I have faced this error multiple times, so make sure that you follow that. And after this, we'll need our set user info from the strength store. So we'll do that afterwards. So let's have one more thing here. Const handle sign up equals to async arrow function. So this will handle our sign up. So this will call an API. So we have marked this as async. After that, let's style our component. So what I'm going to do is, let me have this as half. Let's head over to localhost 5000 / sign up, and we also need to delete that page. We'll do that afterwards. Now let's have, instead of this, have section here, and section would have a class name of bggray50. That's it. So we are using Tailwind CSS here, so this would work. After that, we'll have div with a class name of flex call, item center, justify center, padding x of 6, padding y of 8, padding by 8, this one, and mx of auto, and medium of height screen, and large of py0. Okay, so we have this full width here. After this, what I'm going to do is, let me shrink this also, and after this I'm going to have an link here, I think. Yeah. So this is a link from next link, and let's give this an to property. Why this is not working? link to, I think it should be an href hash, and let's write something in here as image from next image. We are going to have source as slash Amazon logo .png. The logo has already been inside the assets folder, not the assets but the public. So this is Amazon logo. After that, we'll give this an height of 150 units and a width of 150 units as well. Let's save this, and link is not defined. Okay, it was not working because it was not inputted. I think this should work. Yeah, we have the Amazon logo and this is working. Yeah, we have this link here. Now after this link right here will have another div with the class name of width full. After width full, we'll give this a background of white and a rounded of large. Let's give this a shadow and a dark. No, we don't want to give it a dark. Then if it is medium, then we want to give margin top of 0, small, then max width of medium, and if it is Excel, we'll give it an padding of 0, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Now inside of this div right here, we'll have another div. So this would have a padding of 6. So we want padding on all sides. Then we'll have space y of 4, space y of 4, and medium space y is 6. And if it is small, then we'll give it a padding of 8. Okay, so we have this card like layout. Now inside of this, we'll have an h1 that will say create your account, and let's give some styles here as well. So class name text Excel, font bold, leading tight, after that tracking tight, and text gray of 900. If it is medium, then we'll give it a text to Excel, and that's it. I think, yeah, that's it. After this h1, we'll have another div with a space of y, space y of 4, and if it is medium, then space y is of 6, and inside of this we'll have div. Inside the div we will have a label which will say email, and this would have a class name property of block, margin bottom of 2, text small, font medium, text gray of 900. I think, yeah, that's it. And yeah, inside of this goes our your email, not like this. Inside of this your email, yeah, we have the label, and after this we'll have the input. So for the input, just give me a minute. Okay, so after this label we'll have an input which would be type of email. After that we'll give that a name of email, ID of email, value of email. After that we'll also provide an on change event for this because this is an controlled component. So we'll grab the event from here and we'll set email as e.target e.target.value, and let's give this a class name as well to make it look like an input. So background gray of 50, border and border gray of 300, text gray of 300 as well. After that, small of text small, rounded large, and I think that's it. Input is looking good. Now let's give it an padding. So padding of 2.5. Yeah, that's it. And let's give it a width of full. And let's give it a block property. After that, what should we do next is let's give it a focus property. So focus ring is orange 500, or let's try orange 500, and focus border primary, focus border primary, not primary, border orange, and let's give this 600. Let's focus on this. It's not applying, I'm not sure why. Let's get rid of this. I'm not sure why this is not working. Okay, so that's it. So our email is working now. Let's have a placeholder here as well. Placeholder is going to be name at company.com, and yeah, this is looking good. Now we also need to handle our text. So text color should be okay. So this is text gray 300, but we need text gray of 900. Yeah, this is working now. Now let's copy this div, paste it, and what I'm going to do is change the label to password, and this is your password. This is type as password, name is password as well. Let's copy this, paste it here as password, and this is set password, and this is password. Looks great. Okay, so this is working. Now after this, what we are going to do is we'll have a button. So let's do the button. So after this div, we'll have button, and the content would be create an account. Let's give this button a class name. Class name of width full, then text of white, background of orange 400, hover is background orange 500. That's it. And what should we do next? Okay, so after this, let's increase the font. So font medium, and font is text small, and let's give it a padding y of 2.5 and a rounded property, so rounded large, and let's give it a padding x of 5. After that, let's have something as text center, and that's it. Now on click of this button, we want to call our handle signup. So handle signup on click of this, and after this button we'll have a p tag which will have text as already have an account. Then let's use a link tag and have login here, and let's give this an href of /login. Let's save this, and we need to style this. Let's have this a class name of text small, font light, text gray of 500. Save this. Okay, so now let's give this link a class name. So this is going to be font medium. After that, we'll give it a text primary of 600. Then what should we do next is when we hover over it, we want an underline. Okay, so this is working. We have the password. And we are redirected to the login page, but we don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is, now we need to have the API client for calling the API. So what I'm going to do is, inside our source, I'm going to have a new folder named as lib, not inside the app, inside the source. Inside the lib, I'm going to create a new folder as API, and inside the API, I'm going to have a new file named as API client dot ts. So this is going to be an API client, and for this to work, we need to install Axios. So cd client and yarn Axios, yarn add Axios. Axios is used for API calling. Wait for this to install. While this is being installed, let's have const API URL as http://localhost:3000. So this is the API route for our application generated backend, and whenever we are hosting this, we will change this API URL. And after this, we'll have const JWT key, which is going to be access token. So we are going to have the JWT key as access token. Now we are going to use an Axios interceptor. So axios.interceptors.request.use. This will have a config first, and this is an arrow function. So first we'll have const origin equals to new URL, not URI error, URL, and this is config.url. After this, we'll have const allowed origins equals to API URL. I'll explain you the code in a minute, just let me write it. And const access token equals to local storage dot get item JWT key, and after this, if allowed origins dot includes origin, then we'll have config dot headers dot authorization equals to bearer access token, and then we'll return the config. And if we have any error here, we'll return promise dot reject with an error. Save this and let's wait for this to install. After this, we need some functions here, so wait for this to install. Let's do one thing, let's write it as well. Export const create URL endpoint equals to a new URL with the endpoint and API URL, and get the href. Let's close this, and after that we'll have export const is stored JWT equals to boolean local storage dot get item and JWT key. I'll just explain you the code in a minute. Then we'll have export const set stored JWT equals to access token and local storage dot set item JWT key and access token, and after that we'll have export const get equals to Axios dot get, just like this. Then we'll have export const batch equals to Axios dot batch. Then we'll have export const post equals to Axios dot post, and then we'll have export const Axios delete equals to Axios dot delete. Let's save this, and this is still not installed. Okay, so let me maximize this and I'll explain you the code now. So we are using Axios for API calling. Now we have this API URL here, which is the URL of our APIs. So we are going to call this and get the with the endpoint that we are going to provide here. Then we will have this JWT key. So this is just the key of what we are storing in the local storage. So this is an accessor property. Then we will have this intercepted Axios.interceptors. So what these interceptors are, there are two types of interceptors, request interceptor and response interceptor. So whenever we are calling the API, then it is in request. So whenever we are calling an API, before the API hits the server, we want this function to run. And if we had written response here, so what it will do is, before the response reaches to our code base, we want that function to run. So there are two types of interceptor, request and response. So we are using request. So before it reaches to the server, we want to inject some code here. So what we are doing is, we are getting the config of the API, then we are getting the origin. So the origin might be like this. Then we are having the allowed origins. So the allowed origins is this thing, and we are getting the access token, which is stored in the local storage. So local storage dot get item and the accessor property, which is JWT key. So this would replace with access token here, and we'll get the access token. Now we will check if the allowed origins includes this origin. Then what we are going to do is, we are going to have a custom header here for authorization. So config.headers.authorization. So this is the name of the header, and the value would be bearer and the token value. and then we'll return the config. So whenever you do any changes to this config, we want to return that config. If you don't this step, then the changes won't be done, and if there is any error, we want to catch it and reject it. Now these are some helper functions. So this is set stored JWT. This is for setting the access token, which is what we have returned. Then this is string, just give me a minute. Yeah, so this is stored JWT is used for if we have stored the JWT in local storage or not. This signifies that we have an access token if the user has logged in or not. And this is create URL. So this is useful whenever we want to create an endpoint with this URL. So we will just use this. We'll pass in the endpoint. For example, I want to create an endpoint of /API/signup. Then I'm just going to provide /API/signup, and this URL function of JavaScript will have the endpoint here, http://localhost:3000/API/signup, and will get the href. So this is just an helper function, and will get the get, patch, post, and Axios delete methods. So this are just grabbing it from Axios. This is still not installed. Just let me check what the issue is here. Okay, so it has been installed, and now I'm going to cd // and npm start again. And make sure that you import Axios here. Import Axios, and let's check if Axios has Axios config, Axios request config. That should work. Let's ignore this for now. This error, will solve it afterwards. And we have the API client. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a new file here, which is auth.ts. So inside the auth, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a signup first. So export const signup equals to async username and password. Username is string, same goes for password, and arrow function. Let's wrap this in a try catch block. Try catch error, console log error, and inside the try we'll have const result equals to await, and let's use the post that we created in API client. So post request, and let's create a URL. So create URL function, create URL this thing from the API client, and we'll pass in /API/signup, and we'll also pass in the username, password, and let's have a first name property here, which we will change this afterwards. So this is going to be demo, and last name is going to be Amazon, and I think that's it. Now if there is no result, then we'll return an alert that could not sign up. If not, then we'll have the set stored JWT function, and we'll have result dot access token and set it to our our local storage. And after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return a me API. So we have to create this, and this is going to be here only. So export const me equals to async, and that's it. Now inside the me, we are just going to have return is stored JWT. If the JWT is stored, then we will have await get create URL, and get should be imported from API client. Get this thing, create URL, and this is going to be slash API slash me and dot data or null. That's it. Okay, that's it. And I think we also have to change the backend code for authorization. So these things I need, it needs to be changed. I'm not sure, just let me check it. Okay, so for changes, what we have to do for the authorization is, let's head over to credentials.ts in uh, server source auth. So this file, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add an input type and a class for sign up credentials. So I'm just going to copy that code over here, what I have written, and paste it at the end. So we have written this input type, export class, sign up credentials, API property, and this is just the basic stuff. You can just copy and paste it. That's it. Now after this, we will have this another file named as login args, source auth login args, and inside of here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more class here like this, and import up the sign up credentials from credentials. Save this as well, and after this we have the auth controller file, and inside the controller what I'm going to do is, after this login, I'm going to have API bearer auth like this. This is for the me route, and we'll have for the sign up route as well. Let's grab all of these things that are missing. User from user base, yeah, this thing. Now request would be from Next.js common, yeah, and this get would be from Next.js common. Then API OK response decorator would be from Next.js swagger, and now we have to import up the me and sign up, so we'll have to create those first. Okay, so let's create those first. So let's head over to auth resolver. This is source auth resolver.ts, and in here we are going to have the two properties of me and sign up here. Let's grab this. And I think that's it. We'll import anything else afterwards. Now let's head over to authservice.ts, and now we are going to add some services here. So that is for sign up and the me route. Let's add those. After this login is complete, this thing, I think. Not validate user, this one right here. After this is complete, we need this two properties of sign up. We'll need the sign up credentials. Sign up, user services dot create, username, roles admin, and access token. User is user info. Decode token, we have to create the decode token and no found exception. Okay, so that's it. So we have used sign up this thing and the me. Now after that we'll have token service and decode token function inside of this. So source auth token service.ts, and what I'm going to do here is, instead of this export class, I'm going to have this param bearer returns the username from a JWT token, decode token, that's it. And now inside the auth resolver or auth service here, auth service, we have the decode token and we don't have any error here. We can close this file, and here we have an error. I'm not sure why is that. Inside the auth controller, auth resolver, auth controller, is anything left? Just let me check. Okay, so for that error we just had to import this request from Express. So request colon request Express, and same goes for here, request import request from Express, and the error is gone. Now let's restart our server to see if we have any errors. Okay, and whenever you are changing anything in the application generated backend, you have to restart your server, and if it has any errors, it will show you here. So it doesn't have any error. So now what we will do is, let's see if we are all set here, me, and we are all set here, and let's call the API and let's see if everything is working. So let's head to our page.tsx, this thing right here, and let's call everything from here. So in here, what I'm going to do is, we'll check if there is email and password. If there are email and password, then we'll have const response equals to await sign up from lib API auth, and pass in the email and the password. And if there is a response dot username in here, then we'll have router dot push to slash, and we also need to set this username to our Zustand store. So let's quickly set up that as well. So what I'm going to do is, inside the source I'm going to create a new folder named as store, not here, source, store. Inside the store I'm going to have a new folder as slices, and inside these slices I'll have a new file named as auth slice.ts, and inside the auth slice, first time we'll have export interface auth slice and export const create auth slice as state creator. Okay, we also have to install Zustand, so cd client and npm install Zustand. While this is being installed, let's have state creator and have auth slice here, auth slice, and this is interface, so interface auth slice, and we'll get the set and get here, set get from Zustand, and we'll have our user info as undefined and set user info as user info, which is going to be any. We'll fix that afterwards. And user info. Okay, so this is installed. Let's go back and on start. So user info is undefined, or we'll have type, not type, let's have the user info as well. Export interface user info type. We'll have ID as string here. Then we will have a first name as string. Let's see if that works, and let's have the state creator function as well from the stand, and user info type. Why we have error here? State creator, then auth slice, and yeah, we have to give this thing right here, and this should work now. After this, we'll have set user info, which is going to be user info, and it could be undefined. So whenever we log out, we want to set it to undefined, or we can just have user info type here, user info type, and we'll return void from here, and that's it. So this is complete, and now inside the store we are going to have a store.ts, and inside the store.ts I'm going to import from ./slices auth slice, and we need auth slice from here. User info type, no, we need the create auth slice, and we'll have type of store state equals to auth slice, and after that we'll have export const use app store equals to create from the stand, and we'll have store state here, store state, and what else should be there? Store state and .auth create auth slice and spread a. That's it. Now what we have here is, okay, so this is not a bracket, this is an angular bracket like this, and this should work now. Now inside our page.tsx, let's import the function is equals to use app store, and from here we need the set user info, and we'll have set user info and response dot not anything, we'll just set the response. So let's see if that works. Response, and let's try to log in. Let me maximize this. I'm going to have kishanshade21@gmail.com. Password is going to be admin. Create account. Let's open up inspect, and I think we need to reload the page because we have started the server. Kishan at gmail.com admin. Then let's open up network tab, create account, and we have internal server error. Why is that? Let's check. Okay, RxJS of one last value form is not a function. I think we need to install our dependencies again in the server. Okay, we have this yarn.log file. We don't need this. That should be because of the yarn.log file. So rmrf node modules. We are going to delete the node modules first. Wait for this operation to complete. And after that we'll have npm install, and before that I'm going to remove the yarn.log file as well, and then we'll have npm install. Wait for this to complete. Okay, so it is complete, and now let's try to start the app. Npm start, and let's see if it works. Okay, it has been started. Now let's open up the terminal and let's try this again. Create and sign up gave an error of conflict, and JWT is malformed. Okay, so let's check this me first, and authorization bearer undefined. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's change this, clear this out, create an account, and sign up did work. Our user was created and our preview was access token, and this thing has an error, the me API. So our authorization is undefined here. So let's check it. Inside the application, do we have the local storage? Okay, so the access token is undefined here. We are not able to set the access token. So now let's head over to our API client, not API client, auth.ts, and if there is no result, this thing, and result.access token. So result, let's check console.log result, and let's head over to sets to JWT access token local storage dot set item JWT key, and we have this access token here. Let's try to rerun this console and create. Okay, still this JWT malformed, so we are not able to store this. And why didn't this work? Console.log seems strange. Let's have gmail.com, new password, create. Okay, so we have this data.access token. So we have this result.data.access token. So we have to write like this, and I think this should work now. We didn't had any error. Network, and that did work, this API, and response is this thing right here. Okay, so this me API is also working. Now we have to see why we fail this thing. If response dot username. Okay, we need to console out the response here. Response, and Let's have another user and create an account. So response is undefined. Why is that? Let's head over to our auth.ts and return.data. So this should be undefined. Let's check this out. Okay, we did get the response this time, and this is response.data. Okay, so let's do that if that works. Response.data. And we need to set response.data. Let's have another thing right here and create an account, and we are redirected. So this thing is working. Now let's do the same for the login page of client. So let's do that. Now after this sign up, I'm going to create a new folder here named as login, and inside the login we are going to have a new file which is page.tsx. So any page in Next.js is now page.tsx, and I'm going to copy this, paste it right here, and what we are going to do here is this should be same, and let's write login to your account here, email, password, and login, and this thing is sign up, and let's write don't have an account, then sign up here, and this should be handle login. Now let's head over to /login, log into your account, create your account, login here. So everything is working. Now let's deal with the APIs. So inside the auth.ts, I'm going to have export const login equals to async username. Let's do one thing. I can copy this as well. Copy and replace login. This is login, username, password. That's all is required, I think, and could not log in. And this is API login. Sets to JWT console.log result. And let's try to do this. Instead of this sign up, we'll have login. And let's remove this sign up method import. Let's try to have it first. I'm going to sign up with a new user because I didn't remember the password of the signed in users. So this is going to be demo@gmail.com. Password is admin. Create an account, and let's head over to /login. This is going to be demo@gmail.com admin, and inside the network tab I'm going to close all of this, login, and did it work? Okay, I think this is working. So our login API is also working. Now this is done. I'm going to copy this as well, and we'll do the same for admin. So we'll have admin routes in /admin. So admin, then we'll have login, and we'll have page.tsx here, and we will not have this p tag right here. And if we are logged in, then we'll have /admin here, /admin/login. Let's see if the page is there. Yeah, we have this page, demo@gmail.com, admin, login. Okay, admin 404. This page is not found. So let's create the page for admin, and inside this we'll have page.tsx. Let's write rfce here. Okay, so this is also working. Now we'll have a sidebar here. So let's do the sidebar. Okay, so now let's do the sidebar. So for that, we'll have the sidebar component. So what we are going to do is, inside the source, we are going to create a new folder named as components, and the components are further divided in client and the client and the admin. So we are going to have admin here, and inside the admin we'll have sidebar, and inside the sidebar we are going to have sidebar.tsx rfce, and have this capital sidebar, and that's it. Now what I'm going to do is, let's install the package for sidebar. So cd client and yarn add react pro sidebar. Okay, so the package was installed. Now let's go back and write npm start. Wait for this to start, and it has started now. What I'm going to do is, I also needed one more package I forgot to install is cd client, and I will have npm install react icons. And yeah, it's installed. Let's go back, npm start. And now I'm going to import some icons from the react icons package, and these are the icons. So these are from the different react icons packages. You can just copy it out, and now I want the router. So const router is equals to use router from next navigation. We'll also get path name from use path name. Then we will have a use state snippet to store the selected item, and this initially this is going to be admin/dashboard and use state. That's it. And let's have use effect here, and as soon as we have the path name, we'll get the path name from the URL and set the selected item as path name. That's it. Now we'll have all the menu items. So it's just an array of objects. So I'm going to copy and paste it here. So we have this menu items which has an object which has properties of label, icon, and link. So the label is dashboard, icon is home, and the link is the link to the path. Then we also have one more property in other object, which is submenu items. If we have submenu, then we will have label, icon, and instead of link, we'll have submenu items, which will have label, icon, and link. So we have label, icon, link, just like this. So this is that, and same goes for the product, and we have this orders. Now what I am going to do is, let's have the class name here of min height of 100 viewport height and overflow of hidden. Inside of this, I'm going to have a sidebar, and let's give this sidebar a class name of height of full, and class name equals to height full and overflow hidden. And let's remove this. Sidebar should be imported from React Pro Sidebar. Okay, so we need to rename this to, we'll just rename this as side f2 and side, and let's import up the sidebar. That's it. And now what I'm going to do is import the sidebar inside the page of admin. So in here, let's import the sidebar. Let's reload the page. Okay, we also need to mark this as use client. No signs of sidebar. Let's have the values further. After this, I'm going to have a root styles property here, and I'm just going to paste the code root styles sidebar classes. Make sure that you import sidebar classes from React Pro Sidebar. Then we'll give it a background color and a hover background color. So let's see if it is here. It's still not. Min height of 100, height full. After this, let's give it some menus. Menu, and the menu would have menu item styles and class names. I'm just going to copy paste it. So class name, height of 100 viewport height, max height of 100 viewport height, text white and overflow hidden. Menu item styles is going to be, the buttons are styled like this. If the level, if it is a level 0, then we want this, and if it is not, then we want like this. Now after this, we'll have, first we'll have a div which will have a image, which is a next image, and source would be slash Amazon logo white.png, and alternate text would be logo, and will supply a height of 150 and a width of 150. And let's give this a class name of flex, item center, justify center, and margin y of 10. Save this. Let's see. Strange, sidebar is still not here. Let's head over to page.tsx. We have the sidebar here, and let's inspect. Inside the body, we have this div, we have this side, and let's give this a height of 100 viewport height. Okay, so it is here, height is there. Now this container is there, but there is no image here. Not sure why. Just give me a minute, I'll check things out. Okay, so I have found the issue. Inside the page.tsx, we have imported the sidebar from React Pro Sidebar, and we need the sidebar from this side component. And let's see if that works. And we have our Amazon logo. So we have the sidebar layout. Now let's map the values here. Let's do that. And inside the sidebar, what should we do now is, now we have the image. Now let's map this menu items, and after this div, I'm going to have menu items dot map will have an item and index, will return react dot fragment, will pass the key as index. After that, we'll have item dot submenu items, and if there are submenu items, then we'll have submenu from React Pro Sidebar, and we'll have item dot submenu items dot map. This is sub item and sub index, and will return a menu item from here, menu item, and we'll have submenu sub item dot label, and after this submenu is ended, and after this we'll have a menu item like this, and we'll have item dot label inside of this item dot label. Let's save this. I know we have several of errors. Let's do one thing. Let's remove this code first, and we need one more here. Let's have the code here. We have the error again. Let's have this things from here. Submenu items. Let's do one thing. Let's wrap this in brackets and wrap this in brackets as well. And let's remove this bracket from here, and this should work. Okay, so menu item is working. Let's head over here, and this is working. Now we have to fix this. So for that, what we are going to do is, first the submenu will have a label as item dot label, and icon is going to be item dot icon. and we'll have that here. And let's copy these things from here and have that same in the menu item. So menu item will have not the label. I don't think label is necessary. We'll just have the icon. So menu item icon, and let's give this a key of sub index. Let's check it out now. We have the same icons. This is going to be sub item dot icon, and we have different icons here. Now we have to do one thing to check if this is active and handle the on-click events for them. We'll do that afterwards. First, this menu item is going to have an icon as well. So icon is going to be item dot icon, and we have the icons. Now on click of this, we want to navigate to that page, and if that page is active, we need to show it here. So what we are going to do is we'll have inside the menu item, we'll have active selected item triple equals to sub item, not sub index, but sub item dot link. So we'll check if the selected item link is matched with the sub item link, and for this we'll have active item dot link triple equals to selected item, and that's it. And now we will handle on clicks. So on click is going to be handle item click, and we'll pass in the link. So sub item dot link. Let's copy this and do the same for this menu item, and have item dot link here. Let's copy this function and let's create this function here. Const equals to an arrow function, and we'll have the link here. So I'm going to have a link of type string, and we'll set selected item as link, and we'll have router dot push to link. Now for this to work, we need to create some pages. So let's have a dashboard page. Dashboard. Okay, this is dashboard, and inside of dashboard we'll have page.tsx, rfce. Let's head over to dashboard, and this is working. Let's import the sidebar here as well. We should mark this as use client. Admin / and let's head over to dashboard, and you can see that if we are in the dashboard page, the link is selected kind of thing. So if we head over to any of this page, the link would be selected then. So this is working. Now what I want to do is if we create any page, then we have to import this sidebar and configure that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a default layout for our admin pages and have that sidebar there. So let's do that. So for that, I'm going to have an admin layout. So for admin layouts inside the app, I'm going to create a new folder named as layouts, and I'm going to have layouts. Where is the layout folder? Layouts, admin layout.tsx, and I'm going to have rfce admin layout, and in here we'll have div class name. This is going to have flex, min height of 100 viewport height, and inside of this goes our side component, and then we'll have our main component here, which would be our children. So that should be imported from the props, so children, and we'll have the children from children, and the type of this would be children, and react node this method right here. After this, the main is also going to have a class name of flex1 min height of 100 viewport height, and inside the layout.tsx, what I'm going to do is, okay, instead of that, let's create a layouts first. So layouts.tsx, and inside the layouts.tsx we are just going to return the admin layout for now. So rfce layouts and return admin layout, and we'll have the children here. Let's copy the type from here, copy, paste, layouts, admin layout, children, and now let's head over to the layouts.tsx, and inside of this I'm going to have layouts, this one right here, and have the structure like this. Okay, so layouts should be marked as use client, and now we have two sidebars. I know because of this we need to remove this, and whatever we write would be here. So if we head over to our page.tsx right here, we also need to, and yeah, I want to show you one thing. If we head over to login, then we will also have the sidebar. So we have to fix this. We don't want to show the sidebar here. We only want to show this sidebar to the other pages. So we'll also eventually fix that. So first, this admin page should only be responsible for just redirecting the user. So in here I'm not going to return anything. I'm going to return this as null, and instead of this I will have const router is equals to use router from next navigation, and this is going to be page. This is also going to be a page, and we'll have use effect router dot push slash admin slash dash code. That's it. So whenever a user comes to admin, then we just want to redirect to the admin dashboard. So if we go to admin again, we are redirected to admin dashboard. Okay, so now if we head over to other pages, then it would also work. So our sidebar layout is complete. Now let's fix the admin layout to only work on this other pages. So what we are going to do here is, let's get the path name to determine which path this is. So use path name from next navigation, and what we are going to do is, instead of this return, we are going to have a condition here. If path name not path name dot includes admin slash login, then we want to return this div, or else I'm going to just return the children. Includes like this. Okay, so what we are doing here is, if the path name dot includes admin slash login, if we are on the login page, and if we run this path name dot includes admin slash login, then this is going to return us true, and this will render this out. But if we are reverting this condition, so if we are in the login page, then we are returning true, and we are reverting this condition as false, then the control flow will go to this ternary operation to children and just return the children. And if this is false, then this will revert the condition, and we will have the sidebar. So let's test this out. If we head over to login, we don't have the sidebar, and if we head over to admin, we have the sidebar. And now if I head over to this page, we'll have the sidebar here as well. So we don't want to do this. We will fix this by having a navbar here instead of this navbar and footer. So that would be a client layout. So let's do the client layout now. So now let's head over to our code base, and now what we are going to do is, inside the layout, I'm going to create a new layout, which is client store layout.tsx rfce client. Just rewrite the component, client store layout. And now what I'm going to do here is, let's head over to our admin layout. I'm just going to copy this all, paste all of this here, and we need the path name, and instead of this, we'll check if it contains login and it contains sign up. So we have to do the same process for login and sign up pages, because we have included the sign up page also for the client. And if this is there, then instead of side, we want our navbar component, so we have to create that. Let's head over to components, head over to client. So we have to create the folder client and create the navbar, and we'll have navbar.tsx rfce navbar client store layout navbar. We have the navbar, and after the main, we'll also have footer here. So we will also create the footer component beside this navbar. New folder, footer.tsx rfce, and This is footer. Let's head over to this footer, and this is like this footer. That's it. So this is not admin layout. This is client store layout. And let's head over to layouts.tsx, and in here we'll have the use path name. So const path name is equals to use path name, and we'll check return path name dot includes /admin. If the path name includes the admin, then we want the admin layout thing. So this thing, or else we need the client store layout and pass in the children. Let's check this out, and we have the navbar, we have the navbar and the footer. So I think for the client store layout we need to have certain styles. So this is flex one, and this should have flex call, so that all of this should be in a column. So footer is at the end, navbar is at the top, and this layout needs to be deleted. Now this thing is done, and if we head over to login, then we shouldn't have the navbar. Okay, that is not here. And if we head over to admin, we have this sidebar, and let's head over to localhost 5000. So now let's have the navbar and the footer. So let's do that. Okay, so now let's head over to navbar.tsx, and in here we are going to use some icons. So I'm just going to import them from React icons, and let's shrink this. And what I'm going to do here is, instead of this div, we need the nav, and I'm going to head over to Tailwind config.js, and inside of this I want to change something. So we'll remove this background image from here, and instead of this we will have colors here with this things. Paste it here. So these are all the colors that we are going to use for our clone. So you can just write it by yourself. And navbar, and the nav would have the color of Amazon dark. So class name PG Amazon dark. So we have that color right there, and the minimum height for the navbar would be 12 viewport height, and flex item center padding x of 10, height of full, and we'll have text of white. Save it, and we have this right here. Now we'll also give it a gap of 10. After this we'll have a link tag. So link should be imported from next link, and we'll have href /, and let's give this a class name of text 2xl. I think it's not required because we are not going to use any text here, just an image. So image is next image, and source is going to be Amazon logo white.png. Alternative text would be Amazon logo. Height would be height would be 100, width would be 100 as well, and failed to pass source Amazon logo white. Using relative image. Okay, I know why this error is there. We have to write slash before any relative URLs, and we have our logo here. Isn't that cool? Now after that, we will have a div with a class name of flex, items end, gap of 1, cursor pointer. Inside of that, we'll have another div with a class name of flex call, gap of 0, and justify a round. And inside of that, we'll have two spans, which is select, and another span is category. Save it. Now let's give this span a class name of text small and a height of 4, and let's give this class name as font semi-bold. Okay, so that's done, and after this div we'll have another div with text Excel, and we'll have the BI chevron down icon here, and yeah, that's done. Now after this div we'll have another div with flex of 1. So flex 1 means we want this to contain full width, and we'll have an input here, input type of text, placeholder would be search products, and let's give it a class name of with full rounded LSM, height of 12, outline none, and after that we'll also give it a border none and a padding left of 5 and text gray 900. Okay, this is good. Now let's have the search button. So after this we'll have a button. So button would have F5 search icon, and class name would be height of 12, width of 14, and the background Amazon primary, rounded RSM, outline none, border none. After that, I'm not sure what should we include is okay. So after this we'll have text of 2XL, flex, items center, justify center, hover of background Amazon secondary, transition property of all, and a duration of 300 for the transition. And let's see it. Yeah, this is working. So Navbar here is here and it is looking great. I think we need to get rid of the CSS inside the global.css. So let's remove all of this. And let's head over to page.tsx. And I want to remove all of this as well. RFCE page. That's it. And yeah, we have this look here and it's looking amazing. Now let's move forward, and this thing is going to be the copy of this right here. So I'm going to copy this, and after this div will have this div, and this will have allocation. count and orders. That's it. And the same, we'll do this dynamically afterwards. After this div, we'll have another div with cursor pointer. And inside of this div, we'll have flex, items and relative, and inside of this div, we'll have image. Okay, so image is already imported. So image, and this is going to be source / card.png, and alternative text would be cart, height would be 40 and width would be 40 as well. Save this, and we have the cart icon, and after this image we'll have a span which will have cart written over it, and class name would be font medium. After that we'll have, now we want to write the number of items in the cart here. So for that, what I'm going to do is, we'll have another span here which will write 5, and let's see, we have the 5, and I'm going to have it here, and let's give this a class name of absolute, bottom of 4, left is going to be 15 pixels. It's a top now. Then let's give it the width of 4, text of XS. After that, we'll give it a flex, item center, justify center. Still not there. And this is left, left, and it's at position. Now let's give this a text Amazon secondary, and let's give this a font medium. That's it. Isn't it looking great? Okay, our navbar is complete now. Let's do the same for the footer. Now let's do the footer, and for footer let's head over to footer.jsx, and I'm going to paste this links here. So footer links, which has title and links, just an array of objects. You can write anything if you want it here. Now let's style this. I'm going to have this like here. Class name should be background Amazon dark, and min height of 12, viewport height. Then we'll have flex, item center, padding x of 20, height of full, and text of white, text white. Let's save this, and we'll have this kind of footer here. After that, we'll also give it a gap of 10, and a padding y of 16. Okay, now inside the footer, I'm going to have a div which will have a link and Amazon logo. So let's head over to Navbar, and I'm going to copy that logo from here. Let's copy this thing from here and paste it. Let's import the link from next link and image from next image. Save it, and we have the Amazon logo, and after that we just have to map the links. So after this div, we'll have another div with flex of 1, justify between, and the padding x of 20, and we'll have footer links dot map section, and we'll return of flex. We'll have a key as section.title, and let's give this a class name flex and a flex call and a gap of 2. Now inside of this div we are going to have span with section dot title, and a class name would be text base. We have this right here. Now let's map individual links of it. So we'll have a UL. Inside the UL we have section.links map. We'll have the link here and we'll return an li with key as link, and the content would be link as well. So this is here. Now let's give this li a class name. Class name would be cursor pointer and a link over class. We have to write this class. We'll write this afterwards, and UL class name would be text base and flex call, gap of 1 and font of light. Yeah, this is looking nice. Now what I'm going to do is, let's head over to our global.css file and have link over here with cursor pointer and width of max content. So this is our custom class name. So this is pure CSS. Link hover is going to have hover property, and when we hover over it we want the color to be FF9900. Save this and let's check it. Okay, it is working. So yeah, our footer is also complete. So our navbar and footer is complete. So now let's talk about Aptible. So what exactly is Aptible? Well, it's a game changer in the world of application hosting. Whether you are a developer or a business owner, Aptible has some fantastic features that can make your life so much easier. Let's talk about the features of Aptible in detail. First up, we have rapid deployment. Aptible simplifies the whole process of deployment, making it incredibly easy to get your app up and running. No more fussing with complex configurations, just focus on your code. Then we have rock solid security. Security is a top priority for any company, and Aptible takes it to the next level. They provide robust encryption, compliance controls, and regular audits to keep your data safe, because your peace of mind matters. And scaling your app couldn't be easier with Aptible. It automatically adjusts resources to match your app's needs. So there you have it, folks. Aptible, the future of application deployment and management. If you are a developer or a business owner looking to innovate faster and more securely, you owe it to yourself to check out Aptible. So now let's host our app on Aptible. Okay, so now let's host our app on Aptible. So this is the Aptible dashboard. And now let's click on this environment. And we are going to create a new database from here. Click on this new database. We are going to choose a Postgres database, but Aptible provides many databases with different versions. You can see that from here. And we are going to select Postgres SQL 14. And our database handle would be Amazon DB. And now let's click on this Save Changes button. So Aptible is provisioning our database. Wait for it to complete. Okay, so our database provision was successful. Now let's click on this databases from here and click on this Amazon DB. Now we want the credentials of this database to connect with our app. So let's click on this credentials, show the connection URL. I'm going to copy this and let's head over to our VS Code and let's head over to server and .env, and I'm going to replace this DB URL with the Aptible URL. So our user is Aptible. Let's change this as well to Aptible, and the DB password is this. I'm going to paste it right here save it, and before that we also need to change our DB name. So the DB name is DB. Save it, and this process is complete. Now let's head over to environments. Click on the environment again, and let's create a new app. This is going to be Amazon Backend. Let's create the app, and now we need to create an SSH key to able to push our code to Aptible. So what we are going to do is, let's head over to our VS Code. I'm going to open up a new terminal, and I'm going to write this command ssh hyphen keygen, not hyphen, dash keygen hyphen t rsa hyphen b 4096 and capital C with my email here. You can use your email here. Hit enter again, and our SSH key was generated. So the SSH key's location was here, and now I'm going to open it with my VS Code, the .ssh folder. So this is it, and we have this our SSH public key. We need to copy this, and we are going to paste it here, and let's save the key. So this process was complete. Now we need this beta.aptible.com, and what we are going to do is we are going to create a config file here. So let's create a new file which is going to be a config, and the contents of the config would be host Aptible, a tab, then we'll have host name as beta.aptible.com, then we will have a user which is going to be Kishan Shade. You can use your username here. Then we'll have an identity file which is going to be this IDRSA. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the path and paste it right here. Save this, and we are going to run this command ssh keyscan beta.aptible.com and have it in known hosts. Hit enter. Okay, so this is working, and now let's head over to our Amazon clone code, and in here what I'm going to do is first make sure that you are inside the server directory, and I'm going to write git init to create a empty git repository, then write git add dot to add the files to staging, and git commit -m initial commit to create a commit. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this remote URL from Aptible, paste it, and I'm going to copy this command as well, paste it here, and change the main branch to master branch. Hit enter, and yeah, our SSH connection with Aptible is working. So the code has been pushed to Aptible. You can see that we have this screen now, and now we'll have connect existing database function here. We are going to choose this Amazon DB, and we'll have database URL environment variable here. And what we are going to do is I'm going to copy all of our environment variables here, paste it, and have the save and deploy from here. That's it. Now wait for this to complete. Okay, so our deployment was complete. Let's select this and create the endpoint. Now let's wait for this endpoint provisioning to complete. Okay, so this endpoint provisioning has failed. I know what's the issue, and to fix this, I have created this Docker file to set up our app in the container. So this is the Docker file for the server, and this Docker file is for the Next.js app. So what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to copy this Docker file, first one, for our server, and you can also find the link to this gist in the description of the video. Now let's copy this, and we have this Docker file here, and I'm going to replace this Now let me explain what we are doing here is we are getting the Node.js version 16. Then we are creating a directory where the application will be built. Then we are copying the package.json. Then we are installing all of our dependencies. Then we are copying the schema.prisma and running the npm run prisma generate. Then we are copying all our code base and then running the npm prisma db push command. And then we are running the npm run build. We can do one thing. We don't need this command npm run build. We can remove that. Then we have this environment variable port as 3000 and we are exposing that port. And then we are running this command npm start. So that will start our application. So let's save this Docker file, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have git add, and we are going to have git add Docker file and git commit -add added Docker file. And let's see here, we don't have anything. Now for pushing this change to Aptible, we have this command git push Aptible mean. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and we have master branch. So we are going to push it, the master branch to Aptible. So git push Aptible master. Wait for this, and I'm going to increase this, the height of this, because this command is going to take time and all of our Docker commands are going to run here as well. So we'll have the logs here. Let's wait for it to build our application. Okay, so our deployment was successful. Now let's head over to Aptible and let's head over to apps, Amazon backend. Let's head over to endpoints, and you can see that our endpoint and it has been provisioned. Let's click on this, and this was the endpoint that was failed, but now it should be working. Let's click on this URL, and this is not found. Let's click on /API, and yeah, it is working. So our application Swagger UI is here and it has been hosted. Now let's try to create a new user, sign up, try it out, and let's have this the same and execute. And we have the access token here. So our application generated backend was successfully hosted on Aptible. Now let's do the same for our Next.js app and connect the Next.js app with our Aptible hosted backend. So let's do that. So now what I'm going to do is let's copy this app URL. So I'm going to copy this and let's head over to our code base, and inside the client, we have this next.config.js file, and I want you to create this environment variable next public -API -endpoint and paste that URL here. Make sure that this is correct. Save this file and head over to API client inside our source, and this lib API and API client, and replace this const API URL with process.env.nextPublic API endpoint. And I'm also going to do one thing. Let's ignore the TypeScript errors for this build to work. Just give me a minute, I'll just paste the command. Okay, so it is TypeScript. Then we'll have ignore build errors as true, and that's it. Now we also have to create a Docker file for this. So inside the client, I'm going to create a Docker file. Inside the client, new file, Docker file, and let's add this other Docker file from here. To here. This is the same process. We are just building our application and exposing that port 3000. Save it. And now in the Aptible, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new app. So this is Amazon backend. Let's create environment, apps, new app. This is going to be Amazon Next app, create app, and let's copy this and open up our terminal again. Now we are going to cd in our client, and I'm going to have get init here, then get add, get commit -m initial commit, going to paste the remote command, copy this Aptible push command, paste it here, change the main branch to master branch, hit enter, and wait for it to push our code. While we are here, I want you to see this screen. As soon as you push your code, we have this here scan code detected. Wait for this to complete. And you can see that we can add environment variables from here. Okay, so our Amazon clone has been hosted. Now, let's head over to admin and add a category first. So I'm going to add electronics, add category, and the category was added. So yeah, we have successfully deployed our backend and frontend on Aptible and connected both of them. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching this video. This is me, Kishan Sheth, signing out.